In a previous section, within the detail sheet, we designated areas using the drawing boundary tool. A drawing boundary is a predefined area on a sheet model that may contain a drawing. As we saw, the sheet model may be subdivided into several drawing boundaries. So let's jump into MicroStation, where we are going to use the name boundary tool to populate these drawing boundaries with additional details. Here we are inside of MicroStation, and we have the elevation details DGN file open. This can be found in the 09 Composing Sheets folder. Our first task in here will be to create a curtain wall detail using a drawing boundary. So let's open up the Models dialog. From here, we're going to double-click the CW Details model to make it active. Next, let's make the active level G&O name boundary. From the ribbon, we're going to pick the Place Name Boundary tool. Then, in the Tool Settings window, we'll set the following. For the method, by 2 points. For the name, curtain wall. We'll select the mode, place a single name boundary, and we'll make sure that the option for Create Drawing is enabled. Now, coming into the view, we're going to place 2 opposite data points around the first detail, labeled curtain wall. And then we'll provide a third data point to accept the point placements. As such, the Create Drawing dialog opens. In here, we'll be setting the Create Drawing properties. To begin, we'll enable the checkbox for Create Sheet Model if it's not already set. Next, we'll enable the checkbox for File Name. We'll select the Browse Sheet File icon to the right of the File Name field. From here, we'll go ahead and pick the Details DGN file, and then click Open. Back in the Create Drawing dialog, from the Sheets drop-down menu, we're going to select Details. From the Drawing Boundary drop-down menu, let's go ahead and select Detail 4. From here, we just need to confirm the settings are all correct, and then we can click OK. As a result, the contents of the curtain wall detail name boundary are referenced into the Drawing Boundary Detail 4. For our next task here, we are going to create a curtain wall footing detail. So let's go ahead and click the previous model button in the lower left corner of MicroStation. This action returns us to the CW Details model of the Elevation Details DGN file. We'll make the active tool Place Name Boundary. In the Tool Settings window, let's set the name to Curtain Wall at Footing 1. And with the tool set, we're just going to follow the previous steps for placing a name boundary by placing 2 opposite data points around the second detail labeled Curtain Wall at Footing 1, and accept with the final data point. Now, let's ensure the following options are set in the Create Drawing dialog. For the name, Curtain Wall at Footing 1, the drawing seed set to None, Create Sheet Model is enabled. From the Sheets drop-down menu, Details, Drawing Boundary, Detail 5. Take note, when we selected Detail 5 from the drawing boundaries, you may have noticed the absence of Detail 4. This was due to the fact that it has an assignment now, and therefore it is no longer an option. The detail scale set to full size 1:1, and the open model option enabled. So from here, we can click OK. As can be seen, the detail sheet opens with the name boundary referenced into the drawing boundary. For our next task, we are going to create the curtain wall footing detail 2. So let's click the previous model button in the lower left corner of MicroStation. This action returns us to the CW Details model of the Elevation Details DGN file. Here, we'll make the active tool Place Name Boundary. In the Tool Settings window, we'll set the name to Curtain Wall at Footing 2. And with the tool sets, again, we're going to follow the previous steps for placing the name boundary by placing 2 opposite data points around the second detail labeled curtain wall at footing 2, and then accept this with the final data point. Coming into the Create Drawing dialog, let's ensure the following options are set. For the name, curtain wall at footing 2, the drawing seed set for none, the option Create Sheet Model enabled, the file name, Details DGN, from the Sheets dropdown, Details, from the Drawing Boundaries drop-down menu, Detail 6. Take note, when we selected Detail 6 from the Drawing Boundaries, you may have noticed the absence of Detail 5. This was due to the fact that it has an assignment now, and therefore is no longer an option. For the detail scale, full size 1:1, and the open model option enabled. From here, we can now click OK. And as such, the Details sheet opens with the name boundary referenced to the drawing boundary. With our detail references attached, we now need to set the reference file presentation. So, along the ribbon, from the Home tab, in the Primary Ribbon group, we'll go ahead and open up the References dialog. We're going to select the first of the 3 CW detail references. From here, we'll right-click on the selected references, and then from the contextual menu, we'll choose Presentation. As you can see, the Reference Presentation dialog opens. This is similar to View Attributes. From here, we need to disable the toggle for Constructions. Once we do that, we can then click OK. So now, we just need to repeat this procedure for the remaining 2 curtain wall details. With that, we are finished with this task, so we can go ahead and close the References dialog. Take note, as can be seen, by disabling constructions in the reference file presentation settings, the perimeter of the name boundary is no longer visible in the view window. And with that, we'll do a Save Settings to preserve our view settings. During this lesson, you learned how to use the Name Boundary tool to populate drawing boundaries with additional details.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.